It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. People work better and they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. My biggest mistake is probably weighing too much on someone's talent and not someone's personality. I think it matters whether someone has a good heart. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens. We're going to make it happen. As God is my bloody witness, I'm hell-bent on making it work. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. The first step is to establish that something is possible, then probability will occur. You want to have a future where you're expecting things to be better, not one where you're expecting things to be worse. I wouldn't say I have a lack of fear. In fact, I'd like my fear emotion to be less because it's very distracting and fries my nervous system. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "Nah, what's wrong with a horse?" That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. You have to say, well, why did it succeed where others did not? Being an entrepreneur is like eating glass and staring into the abyss of death. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. Don't delude yourself into thinking something's working when it's not, or you're gonna get fixated on a bad solution. I could either watch it happen or be a part of it. As much as possible, avoid hiring MBAs. MBA programs don't teach people how to create companies. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things, I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. It's very important to like the people you work with, otherwise life, and your job is gonna be quite miserable. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. Great companies are built on great products. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better. I really like computer games, but then if I made really great computer games, how much effect would that have on the world? I was raised by books. Books, and then my parents. Education is basically downloading data and algorithms into your brain. Don't confuse schooling with education. I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. There's a tremendous bias against taking risks. Everyone is trying to optimize their ass covering. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. I don't think it's a good idea to plan to sell a company. No, I don't ever give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated. Starting and growing a business is as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of the people behind it as the product they sell. I've actually not read any books on time management. What makes innovative thinking happen? I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. I always have optimism, but I'm realistic. It was not with the expectation of great success that I started Tesla or SpaceX. It's just that I thought they were important enough to do anyway. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. Your will is the most accurate way to predict the future. Life is too short for long-term grudges. I would like to die on Mars. Just not on impact. If something has to be designed and invented, and you have to figure out how to ensure that the value of the thing you create is greater than the cost of the inputs, then that is probably my core skill. I always invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole thing of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. With automation comes abundance. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. I'd rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right.